Good morning. How's everyone today? Again, I'm on my way to work on this Wednesday morning. Normally I wouldn't be jetting off to work so early, but there's a potential student, so I'm meeting with, I forgot to shave too. And I'm going to meet with this potential student to go over the education program. So they're supposed to be there about sometime between 10 and 11:30. I'm not for sure when, so I'm aiming to be there, by 10. Anyway, something I only taught 6 classes this morning with VIPKid. And after that long holiday break with them, and also working with Engoo, and I didn't miss the students as much as I thought I would. I thought I'd be like, oh, and I had good students today. I had one turd, but I had all good students besides that one turd. But and I was happy to see them. But it's like it's already in me that's going to end here soon. So it's like already sort of like the end of the school year. It's coming. It's over. Wish them well. Move on. So I have that feeling now, and it's still people saying the writing's still on the wall. Parents are saying it. I see other people. The rumors are there that October they're not going to have us teaching them anymore. And it's VIPKid going to tell us soon. Not that, you know better than that. They like to wait till the very, very last second and to spring these announcements. They like to lead you on, and then boom, new announcement. and so, and that shows how much they value people who teach for them. They don't. Not very much at all. They've went this far, but they're a business, and that's how businesses do. And we've been told since day one to don't put all your eggs in one basket. Anyway, so that's for the people who are complaining about this being their only job. It's hard for me to have sympathy because there's been so many people, so many times that even before any of this was going down. It's the push for diversify your income. Don't depend solely on VIPKid. And so, if you're in that situation now, then sorry, not sorry, kind of situation. Sorry to, I know it sounds kind of mean, but that's just how that's how it is. I'm done. I'm opening my schedule up with them and teaching until they say no more, but and I'll probably still open my schedule just because I have a student in Hong Kong. The mother wants to keep, I'll teach for her, and that's fine. But I think little by little, I'm gonna start, moving into more Engoo instead of VIPKid. The pay's a lot different. I'll have to work more if I want to match the pay I got through VIPKid, but that's fine. It's fine. I will make more than enough. I think I'm gonna do a video comparing the two. I know VIPKid and Engoo it's almost like apples to oranges, but there are a lot of people still who are leaving VIPKid thinking about Engoo. I see it on the Facebook group, Engoo Facebook group a lot. I'm new to this. Came from VIPKid. Would someone tell me what some differences are, yada yada, and so and then people do it. That's one difference. That's one big difference. The Facebook groups with Engoo, at least the ones I've seen, they don't tolerate any drama. If you go through there, you'll see no drama in at least the Facebook group I'm in. It looks like the main one. There's no drama. There's none of that garbage there that you'll find in the main, or even any of most of them, not all of them. There's some really good ones out there with VIPKid unofficial groups. But if someone says something or someone asks a question, there's not someone there giving them a rude answer or trying to make them feel like they're dumb. Or, well, this was being asked 10 times. So what? We'll answer for the 10th time. That's what the face group, for the VIPKid face group. I silenced those groups a while back, and I just go to it if I see something's going on and just want to look at it real quick. But And it's not everyone, every time there's an issue, they're tagging one person. Go through the Facebook group. if a kid farts in class, someone tags Eric Chong's his name or something. What do I do? And they tag him, that poor guy. Someone breaks a nail in class, they tag him. It just, but they don't. And that's one thing, the Facebook group with Engoo's more useful. I've gotten more use out of it. There is a difference. It seems to be like a set of differences between native and non-native, and when people native who were hired, like the pay scale's different. How much you get, well, how much natives and non-natives get paid are different, but within each, it looks like people get paid on certain days, and not everyone's paid on the same day. I don't know how that works. I'm not for sure. Again, I may just be talking at my hind end, but that's what it looks like. But even with that, there's no like, well, that's not fair. On Facebook, you would see a lot of, well, that's not fair for Facebook with VIPKid, and a lot of downplaying and a lot of backhanded posts of, wow, I got $5, I got this much, wow, and just anyway, you've been to the Facebook groups with VIPKid before. They're, where was I going with that? And I've gotten used to the adults, call it the university and students and adults, and there's also that there's not as much pressure there. Even you don't have to be put on a scene and act. That's something like today. I felt a little awkward with some of my students today. Like I had to turn up the peppiness for a couple, because they were younger, and I'm not going to talk down to a younger kid, but it's just the way the way you deliver instruction. That's where I'm getting from with that. I don't know why I can't think of that word, but it was very awkward for me today. I felt like I was out of the loop or out of sync. I couldn't do it, and I probably come off as probably weird, probably to tell. But they did well, except for the one kid I had today. He was, a turd. And so, I ended that at 25 minutes. Sorry, you're done. And there's also that feeling too. You saw the video I posted earlier, probably last week before last, of the one guy who was kind of backhanded back at the parent for 3 or 2 starting him for yawning. I have that same kind of attitude now when it comes to that kind of stuff. And so anytime that student was all over the place, I would just stop and smile. So, are you ready? And he would like, yes. And so it's kind of funny. Whatever. At 25 minutes, he was still, I just finally the parent wasn't there. There was not an adult with him. I could hear some adults in the background. Somewhere they were doing things, but this kid obviously struggles to focus and pay attention. It's not the first time. It's been many, many times, but they still stick in there. And it also seems like he's not practicing between classes. Again, a kid's not going to do it on their own. You have to be there. If you're going to pay for these classes, you need to take full advantage of all the things they give you, and not expect just attending the video lesson with us. It's going to be enough. And so, anyway, I'm not going to miss that of kids putting their hand in front of the camera or playing games during class and things like that. Not having to door the lesson. Now there is some of that with Engoo. I've seen, I've only taught like 2 kids. One was 17 and the other was a girl. I think she was 6, and she did very, very, very well. But for the most part, I've had a CEO of a small business in South Korea. I've had a medical doctor in Japan. I've had actually 2 or 3 medical doctors, 2 dentists. I have one who is a translator, and she's not for English. She's a Chinese translator, but she's learning English right now. I have some at working like I don't know what she does. She's really friendly. She put in her the requirements you see before class that to skip introduction. So I've never really sat down and had that proper, and that's fine. You know, some people don't want to introduce themselves. That's a very awkward thing to do sometimes, is introduce yourself, especially if you are practicing a language. Maybe you don't feel ready for that. And that's fine. In the lessons, if we don't get through the whole article, as long as we're working the whole time, and if I just sit there, and then it's fine. And even that, I've had some, we start the article, reading it, and then we start conversing and having discussions about topics with the article, and then sometimes we've taken a bunny trail and talked about something else. But there's been no like stress of, oh, he didn't ask all the questions. Oh no, he didn't read. You know, there's none of that garbage. And so, like VIPKid has, you have parents who, if you don't touch every single slide, then they pitch a fit. And I understand that. I understand their side too. If they're paying for that, they want the full instruction as possible. But when your kid's all over the place jumping around, or if your kid's placed at a level where they don't belong, but you're in denial and you want to put them up there, then it's going to be a struggle. And we try our best. We try our best for the kids for that. The adults seem to be more cognizant of where they are, where they should be, and some of them actually put themselves much lower than they should be because a lack of confidence. And again, these are a different culture and all that. One thing I've noticed, I have any YouTube video or anything I've read about Japanese culture is that they pride being on time. They start promptly. They have one of the best transportation schedules in the world because it's always on time. One time I think it was a minute late. They put it in the paper, and they had to excuse a lot of people from work. Well, not from work, but excuse why they were late for a minute. And so, but I'd probably get 7 or 8 out of 10 of my adults show up late for our session. I don't mind because it's usually that they get there and they're apologetic, and it's not like I don't know what they're doing. I don't ask, but I'm like, that's fine. Don't bother me, because we're not obligated to go through every single thing. I've had some parents from VIPKid, they'll show up with their kid late, and you can tell they get a little perturbed because I ended at 25 to 27 minutes. It's according to how long I've been teaching that day. If there's a class next, I usually go until they're finished. If there's not a class next, I usually go until they're finished. But if it's a kid, that's really trying, I'll give them those extra minutes. If it's a kid who shows up late, but they're just kind of dilly-dallying and all this stuff, I end around at 25. My obligation's done with you. And Engoo with the parents, with the adults, at 25 minutes, they're usually the ones telling me, oh, thank you for the session, we're done, see you next time. They're out of there. So maybe time is, I'm sure, I'm not saying everything I've read and watched is incorrect, but a lot of them, I actually get interested in, it's like I'm having a discussion with someone I've just met, or for my repeats, feel like I've Lord, I can't stand when people block me over in this road like this, so I can't get out. Now I'll pass them all up, and so 25 minutes, I've had some at that 25 mark, I've had some say, oh, but thank you for a wonderful lesson again today, and you have a good day, and I'll hope to see you soon. Bye. So I'm thinking some of those that do that, their work, I have a lot of adults whose work pays for it, and so they're obligated to be there. So they meet their 25 minutes, and they're friendly as could be, and at 25 they're gone. I've had a few, we'll finish what we're saying and they don't cut it out. And I'm assuming those are the ones who are there for personal pain for it themselves. So, and even then, either at the 24:30, usually I can tell the discussion's rounding up, I will, ask if there's any more questions, and I'll use those last 30 seconds to
talk about how well they did and where they could improve and things like that. And then 25 minutes, we parked. And they give you 24 hours to submit feedback. So that's a little more convenient. I take notes on paper because if I didn't do that and I went to bed and woke up and did notes, I would probably totally forget what they did. And the good thing about that, though, is you can go back into the class and everything in the chat is already there. You can do with VIPKid, you can watch the video, but it's a little inconvenient the way theirs is set up. But in Engoo, it's set up to where you can just open the class, it opens up in another window, and the chat, everything you put in the chat's already there. So anytime I correct a word or a phrase, or we talk about a new word they've never heard of, I usually like to type it in the chat, so that'll give me a little note there as well. And I have pen and paper notes too, so I have double notes to look at. And it's no problem that they don't expect a lot on their notes. They even give you an example of it. And so I'm shaving mine down. I'm used to VIPKid, and I'm being real wordy a lot with mine. And there are many times with VIPKid I'll hit that 3,000 mark a lot in my feedback. And so I definitely don't do that for Engoo. You don't rate them or anything like that. You have to give them at least 2 sentences and at least 2 words that they either struggled with or you'd like for them to practice for the next time. And sometimes that's a little difficult, especially when you're doing, it's all free talk or free conversation, and they don't want to have a lesson with actual lesson guide. That's a little difficult, especially if they're excellent speakers. Usually some of those, I'll notice they still struggle to pronounce the L sound. So that's one I always recognize quickly. So I've never had anyone who's advanced to where they're doing them totally correct. So that's usually one I go to for that. That and subject verb agreement, and I'll tell them we even struggle with that over here in English speaking countries. And so they could probably correct me too. I make a lot of those during casual speaking. This little video is rather long. I finally learned, was it Canva? I finally decided to go to the website and toy with it. I think I need to start using that because none of my videos have thumbnails, and I think I need make it. If I want to do this, I need to do it right and make this more professional looking instead of just here's a video. That's why I'm putting out some days I put out 3 videos in one day. I just sit down and do something and sometimes I use iMovie to connect videos sometimes together, so it's pieces together, and then just upload it to YouTube and send it on its way. I feel like there's one I don't feel as bad because I see some actually YouTubers who have in the hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and it looks like they just sit down in front of a camera and do something real quick and send it on. Of course, I'm nowhere near that level. I'm sure they do other things to edit it, and I don't have all the the audio visual equipment that a lot of professional ones do either. So I have my phone, and then I have my iMac, and then I use the MacBook if I'm in a different room. So if you see me away from that virtual classroom I'm using a MacBook, unless I'm in the car like this, and you can always tell when it's a phone. It's I can hold it like that. Anyway, I think I'm getting to the point where I'm rambling, so I think it's time to wrap this one up. And again, thank you for watching. My last video I put with opening the Amazon box. It's built a lot for me. Some people here, that many number of views is probably not for you, but not a lot for you. But for me, I need to see because there were a few there in my earlier videos. I had a lot of people from India for some reason. So if you see me in my earlier videos, it has 1,000 some views. Those, and I looked at the analytics. There's a lot of people from India. I don't know what that was about, which is fine. I don't care where you're from if you want to watch the video. It was just interesting. So now I did one yesterday while I was opening up a new tortilla blanket I bought that you can wrap up and you look like a burrito.
I have that up yesterday, and it's already like this morning before I left for work, it was like at 800. It's like, huh, I'll be darned. So I want to see if it's the same thing going on or not. I wish they'd all subscribe so I can just jump up there to monetization, or at least get 1,000. So I can do live on mobile, and I'm not doing this and then uploading later. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm not editing too much right now. That's not something I've done. I need to get serious about that. I need to look at some better ones than which I like. iMovie's doing great for what I'm doing right now. I'm not doing anything big, but I need to start, doing better, I guess. Alrighty, thank you for watching, and see you next time.